Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals publish to educate their consumers, to build their businesses, and to leave a legacy. We're doing a series of spotlights on remarkable experts and authorities across the country and in your town. Joining me on this segment from Surprise, Arizona is Bob Reish. Bob, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Bob, tell us a little bit about your work and the types of clients that you help.
Oh, thank you so much for asking, Mark. I'm Bob Reish. I'm a certified business coach with Caveat Institute, and we are passionate about helping seasoned leaders, aspiring leaders who are successful. They know they're successful, but they know there's another level. We help them get to that next level. And we do that through systems and processes, not only through my 30 years worth of experience, but also the experts like Brian Tracy, John Maxwell, and others to help people get those results that they're looking for. And we help them in three primary ways. Number one, we help them go from busy to productive. We help them increase their margins, but most of all, we help them balance their personal and business lives, because that's really what people are looking for when they go into business for themselves.
Excellent. Bob, you mentioned those three pillars. Can we break those down a little bit? Could you tell us a little bit about the first part, from going from busy to productive? What is their biggest challenge there?
The biggest challenge is most people are busy and they don't even realize it. And productivity is not about activity. That's one of the keys. So one of the things that we talk about is how to be truly productive and not be busy. What we do is we focus on what are the myths about productivity. And one of the things that people really struggle with is they believe that that trying to do everything works. They believe that multitasking works. They believe that they have to say yes to everything works. And one of the things that we focus on is understanding, number one, how to say no. Number two, how to do one thing at a time, but mostly how to focus on the most important thing that is not based on what I want to do or what I should do, but based on consequence. So what we do is we have a system and a process that helps people double their productivity in half the time.
Are there any big myths or misconceptions? You mentioned a couple, but any more like big keys that people are commonly challenged with when it comes to going from busy to productive?
Yes, there's one that's probably one of the biggest, and that is something that we learned in school, that we do best under the gun. We do best at the last minute. And how often have people been in school, whether it's, elementary, high school, or even college, where they cram the night before, or even in business where at the last minute, you forgot that you have that presentation. And what people do is they believe that they're actually more productive at the last minute, but really what it does is it adds anxiety, adds stress, and it brings on more mistakes. One of the things that we do when we talk about productivity, everything is done beforehand. So when we're at that end, there is no deadline. Everything is finished and everything is completed with excellence and not good enough based on we ran out of time.
Sage advice. Bob, now pillar number two, you mentioned helping businesses increase their margin. Right. What are the ways that you help in that area?
Well, a lot of people focus on got to make more money. How do we make more money? And they put all kinds of creative ways to make more money. And yes, they increase their income. But one of the things that they miss is understanding of their expenses, understanding of the things that cost them money. There are two ways to make money in business. Number one is to create more income. Number two is to decrease your expenses. So we focus on margins. What is a person's margins? And we go down to each individual dollar to make sure that their expenses is the lowest possible and they're actually making more. And another element that we bring in that a lot of businesses fail to understand is their purpose. The purpose is not to make money in business. The purpose is not to how much money can we bring in. The purpose, number one, is to create value. And when you create value, the second purpose becomes generating revenue. And the key is the more value you create, then revenue becomes a result of your value. So when we can maximize both of those, not only are we taken care of, but most importantly, our clients are taken care of.
Sounds like a big shift in mindset when money and revenues really becomes a byproduct of providing value.
Absolutely. It's all mindset. It's all about how to think different. And it's about changing that paradigm. And we talk about here at Caveat Institute is paradigm is mentioned a lot. A lot of people talk about changing paradigm. many times what people experience is just an emotional boost. And we understand that sales is based on emotion and we buy based on emotion. But the difference is when people say their life has changed at a seminar or a workshop, how often 2 weeks later are they right back where they were? It wasn't a true paradigm change. It was an emotional shift. What we focus on is changing the paradigm. So when people change their paradigm, they don't go back. So that's one of the things we focus on, because you're absolutely correct. It's all about mindset. It's all about how we think.
And speaking of mindset, your third area is that balancing of their work-life balance. Is that right? Speak about that, please.
Most people go into business so they don't have to have a boss, or they want to make their own hours, or they want to have more freedom. All too often, what happens is that freedom goes away because now their business is running them. What we want to do, which ties right into margins, which ties right into productivity, is we help them understand that they have one life. And when we can help them understand that they can do what the most important thing is at the right time, what that does, it allows them to maximize their business, to grow to their goals and their dreams, but it also allows them to have what they want. So not only do they become more successful, not only in energy, time, and money, but also they're able to spend time with those people that mean the most to them, their families. They're able to go on vacation, and most of all, they're able to have more fun. And that's one of the things we focus on, is having that balance, because when people have that balance, that's what people are really looking for. And that balance is key. And that's one of the things that we help people do, is create that balance.
It reminds me of that old joke, hey, congratulations, you're your own boss. And the bad news is you're your own boss.
Exactly.
Well, to that point, what are some big myths and misconceptions people have when they think that, hey, I'm starting my own business and I'm being my own boss? What do you think is a big misconception and a surprise to them when they finally dive in?
Kind of what we've been talking about, that busy is productivity. And one of the things, I think we've all seen the picture on Facebook that says, oh, you only work 40 hours, you work 40 hours a week. I remember when I had a part-time job, and I look at that and cringe, because people ask me all the time, they say, I bet you're really busy and you work all the time. I said, no, I don't remember the last time I had a 40-hour week. Why is that? It's not that I'm not productive. It's I have time to do more of those things that I want to do. And I always tell people that I have 3 things in my business that most people would love to have. And I have 3 things in my business that people dream to have. And those three things are these. Number 1, I can go to bed whenever I want. I get up whenever I want, and I can take a nap whenever I want. Most people call that vacation. But the reason we're able to do that is because we control our time, and I get to go to bed as early or as late as I want. I get to get up as early or as late as I want, and I get to take that nap. And the reason I say that, it's not as much as the bedtime and the rising time and the nap. It's I'm doing what I want to do and I'm not overwhelmed. And that's really the key. And one of the myths is we have to always have activity. Activity is many times there because we are taught from a very young age that we always have to be moving. Remember that first part-time job when you were a teenager and the boss came in? What does the manager say? Everybody look busy. So everybody starts cleaning stuff and moving around. I see it this way, is if that boss walked in and everybody was standing there doing nothing, it means that everything was done and everything is the most productive. Unfortunately, that picture is a rarity. What we want to do is create that picture that just because you're not moving doesn't mean you don't have to be productive, or that doesn't mean that you're not productive, because you have everything done in the right time at the right place. And that is very important. And that goes right back into having that personal and business life balanced. One more myth is people are guilty when they're not working. People are guilty when they're not doing something. The great thing is you're creating that time that's within that 86,400 seconds a day that all of us have, that you can spend it how you want, because really time is a coin. We get 86,400 seconds a day. Everybody has the same amount of time. The question is, how do we spend it? If we don't choose how to spend it, somebody else will always spend it for us.
Right on. Bob, what inspired you to get started in business coaching and helping other business owners? How'd you get started?
Love that question. Thank you so much for asking. It's about stumbling blocks and stepping stones. And I take this all the way back to my coach in basketball in high school. His name is Coach Cook. And I remember this like it was yesterday. He put his arm around me at basketball practice and he goes, Bob, you have passion, you have energy. I believe that you would make a better wrestler. And so I went to wrestle. Looking back to this day, he was telling me that I wasn't good at playing basketball. And I look at that as I learned new skills as a wrestler. And then I went into college, and I remember I went to technical school thinking I want to work with my hands. And most people that know me know that I'm an expert of taking a 15-minute job and turning it into 2 hours. And I remember I was working on phone systems, and my manager came to me and he goes, "Bob, you would do really well teaching clients in the classroom." They were getting me out of that environment. And what the great thing was when I got into the classroom, I realized that was my passion. It was helping others become better. And through ministry and through the insurance industry, and as I moved further and further into different areas, I discovered that, yes, I can do what I do, but my passion was to help other people become more. And every step that I've taken, whether it's a stumbling block, instead of pushing backwards, I push forward. I've had those mentors that help me move forward. I've had those people that try to deter me. And the people I thank the most are the people that try to hinder me and deter me, because of them, they put me in a position to move forward. It's about understanding that stepping stones and stumbling blocks are the same block. It's a choice that we make, whether to fall backwards or step forwards. And I love to think about that, because I am where I'm at today because of stumbling blocks and stepping stones that allows me to move into this step. And I'm really looking into the next step that's before me as well. So really great question. It's all about the good and the bad, but it's about our perspective on, do we choose to move forward in any circumstance?
I love that. Really inspiring story, Bob. So for folks listening now that have a business and they could definitely use help in those three areas, how do they connect with you and learn more?
3 ways, real simple. Connect with me on LinkedIn. You'll see a lot of my content on LinkedIn. Follow me on LinkedIn. You'll be able to see my content each and every day. Follow me on my website, bobreish.com. You'll be able to find all about me and connect with me as well. You can call me at 623-628-1996. So those are the 3 best ways. Follow me on LinkedIn. Find me on my website, bobreish.com, and also 623-628-1996. And one other caveat is my podcast, which is called Here's the Caveat. Here's the Caveat is on all the platforms. There's over 120 episodes on there that talk about intentional leadership, how to be that intentional leader. You can find that on my Facebook. You can find it on my website, or just type in Here's the Caveat, and it's on about every platform. So look me up. I'm here to answer your questions. Whatever you need, give me a call. Look forward to talking with you.
Bob, this has been absolutely terrific. I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing with my audience today, and I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
My pleasure, and thank you very much for having me.
Executive and business coach Bob Reish, and this segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals publish to educate their consumers, to grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thank you for joining me.